First Channels podcast brought to you by AS International. My name is Raphael.
My name is Jeremy.
And today we're going to talk about
the fitness industry, the state of it, why are so many young people using steroids and more. So to start it off, why do you think 14-year-olds are reverting to steroids?
I think there's a simple answer to that. When people get into fitness, it's because they most likely want to look good in some sort of aspect. There's a lot of people who want to look good but don't want to put in the effort because they're looking at all of these, glorified fitness influencers who have like abs on abs and biceps. But these teenagers just want to like accelerate the progression. So they're already looking to use steroids like their first year of lifting just to catch up to those idols of theirs.
Yeah, I mean, also too, I'm not sure if you've seen on social media, I'm not sure if you guys have seen on social media, but there's an epidemic, or I would say not epidemic, but inflation of people's gym physiques, as you were saying before. And also like there's certain weights that people touch, like for bench, 225 used to be like a staple of strength. Now it's like the standard now.
It kind of is the standard. Like everyone's like, if you don't bench 225, it's like, it's not as impressive as it was, let's say, 30, 20, 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So it's kind of crazy, but I mean, you got to think about it though. It's like technology is advancing. There's more fitness programs, more people who are like into fitness now. Like I think fitness is almost like a trend at this point.
Yeah.
Like you could go onto social media and see like a billion like fitness influencers. Everyone has like a brand new page that they're starting and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely like a trend. I see that.
And according to that, what you said, I feel like most people, and in tandem with what we were talking about earlier, are probably using steroids and hitting those numbers, and they just not open about it. Like a lot of people lie about it, like on their social media, like, oh, like I'm all natural, and then a year or two later it comes out they're using TRT the whole time or something like that. So yeah. I feel like that's just really fraudulent. And do you feel like there should be repercussions for that? Like maybe not legal, but like there should be, like, as you're lying to your audience and like you're just basically giving people a false sense of hope.
Yes, I actually love that you brought that point up, because I think there are so many people who are chasing unrealistic goals. I'm not saying that you can't look great, but like the standard of what great looks like nowadays is like kind of unrealistic. If I do say so myself, I think these fitness influencers, like a lot of them are cool. Most of them are cool. Like I have no problem with them. Me personally, like I like it. It makes for cool content. They get to push their body. You get to see like what their bodies can do. All this other stuff is dope. But when you start lying to your audience and say like you're on steroids or you're taking like some sort of supplement that you're not telling your audience about, and you may give them, your audience, like a program to follow, and they've been doing this for months, seeing no real progress, and it's just like that real unrealistic goal that they're chasing just may never happen.
An example, you ever heard of Liver King?
Yeah,
like, all right, so this guy named Liver King, I'm not sure if you heard of him. He's like, by the look at him, you'll probably think he's super roided out, which he is. But for the longest time, he was saying, oh, like, I'm all natural. I just go off this carnivore diet where I'm eating like raw liver and like
all this other stuff. Yeah.
And then sleeping on floors and have this very primal diet. Turns out he was getting $100,000 and he was paying $100,000 in steroid uses every year, so he maintained his body. But I just think about, and he made millions off of his courses and off of his diet, his dietary book or whatever. But like I just feel like that's so like scummy and fraudulent.
So fraudulent. I mean, if you've seen this guy, he looks like he's drawn out of like a cartoon. Like he better physique than the Crimson Chin.
Yeah, like
I mean, I don't know, but
he looked like someone that like entered the fight.
That's how he really did. But it's like that's like what's happening a lot in the fitness industry. So I feel like there should be repercussions. Because do you know how bad that could like really hurt someone mentally?
Yeah.
If it's like all they're chasing is perfection, and it's like what like their idol or whoever they're following has that dream physique, but like they're on things, on drugs, on steroids, or whatever the case may be.
In the opposite case, you have these guys called the Trend Twins who are open about their steroid use, and like they don't promote it per se. But they're just like, oh yeah, don't do steroids, but then they hit like crazy lifts. Yeah. So it's like you're almost like dry promoting it. in a way.
You're almost dry promoting it. At least they're saying not to take it. But
Like it's just like I think they say don't be like us. I'm not 100% sure, but like I know they haven't openly said like, oh yeah, like do steroids, be like us. But I know they're like, oh yeah, like we're not natural, but like we're hitting like 405 on bench every other week.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what does that say to like someone who's like under the age of 18? Like, oh, like I want to look like them, and I want to bench 405 as soon as possible. And another thing on that, oh, you want to go first?
Go ahead.
So I wanted to say this, and opposed to like people using steroids at a young age, people just don't let themselves have puberty, or go through puberty, I should say, or have growth spurts. It's just like I saw a video and this guy was like, "Oh yeah, this is my crazy body transformation. This is me at 14 versus 18." Like, yeah, he was like, "No, no, duh, you're gonna change." Like, bro, you went through puberty.
Yeah.
So I think that's so like that's such a good point. It's just like, bro, just let yourself grow. What were you gonna say, Sam?
There was a video that I saw pretty recently. It was a teenager who was open about like taking steroid use, and it was like I think that I can't remember the interviewer's name, but he was also like he was a gym influencer, or fitness influencer, and he was interviewing the kid, and he goes, "Hey, do you know like that steroids like can like shorten your lifespan and make you unhealthy, make you lose hair?" And this teenager, or whatever, before the guy knew that the person was a teenager, he thought that guy looked like he was 30 something years old. Genuinely looked like he was 30 something years old. He was balding, and I think he was 18 years old, but he had the body of like a person who was like lifting for like 10 plus years.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
The craziest thing, and he goes, yeah, no, like I don't care. This is what the interviewee said. Yeah, I don't care about it. I just want to look good. Like I don't need to live to like 100 years old. Like 60 is fine. It's almost like the mindset of like I'm here for like a good time, not a long time. And you can't mistake that. But like when you're like purposely doing it for yourself, and you know the repercussions. Like that's so unhealthy because sooner or later he's gonna be in a wheelchair like at 40 something years old, God forbid. But you can't play around like that, and that's what is happening a lot in these times.
Speaking on that, the people downplay the aging side effects what steroids do, but that's insane. Like balding at 18,
Balding
like maybe
at 18.
maybe it could be genetic, but that does speed up the process by a hell of a lot. Especially like, and it messes up your hormones a lot. It brings down your testosterone, which is like the exact opposite of what you want to do if you want to get big. So I just don't understand. I mean, I know steroids are used more so for recovery than getting big. That's a common misconception. But still, like, you shouldn't be 18 looking like you're going on 35.
No, he genuinely looked old. Like I had no idea. It was like a YouTube short. I don't know what it was, but
Was it Jesse James West?
It wasn't Jesse James West. It was the influencer. He was like a tall Caucasian guy, blonde hair. You've seen him before. You've had to see him before.
I think I know the clip you're talking about because I've seen a lot of clips where the guy's like huge. He's just like, yeah, like
are you whatever or natty? What do they say? Are you this or natty?
Are you natural or natty?
Natural or natty? No, natty is natural.
Oh,
natty is natural.
Lo siento.
I can't remember what they say, but yeah, you get the gist. Are you on steroids or are you natty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
But, that stuff is crazy though. Like, have you ever thought about? Because like we both like are into fitness in some certain extent.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a point in your life where you're like, yo, steroids might need to be the way?
Like no.
Like ever?
No, because first of all, what are you training? Like, if I'm not a professional athlete, there's no real reason for me to be taking steroids. Even so, a professional bodybuilder, there's no real reason for me to be taking steroids because I'm gonna get to that, or I'm gonna get to the point right now. See, I understand if you're taking it as an athlete because like that's your whole livelihood. So you're like, oh, if I'm not performing, I don't get money, and if I don't get money, I get cut. Or if I don't have money, then what I'm saying I'm not performing, they're probably gonna cut me. So I would understand on that front, like, oh yeah, it's just kind of a pressure thing, like, oh, like I need to get better fast and I need to show improvement. Also for bodybuilding, like, oh yeah, I want to look the best on stage, and maybe naturally, you just can't do that. So you're gonna have to, compete and get your name out there by using steroids. I'm not saying I co-sign it. I'm just saying I understand it more to an effect than just being a regular gym goer. Like, oh yeah, I'm taking steroids. Like, oh, I just want to look good. And then the worst thing is, some of these guys don't look like they lift. Or they look worse than people who are natural taking steroids. Because I saw people in the comments were just like, oh, in a certain video when the guy was like, oh, I take steroids. And they're like, bro, I couldn't tell.
Wow, yeah, I saw that video. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But to play devil's advocate, you're talking about they're doing it for the livelihood. Professional athlete,
And bodybuilders.
professional bodybuilders, these fitness influencers, this may be their only income. They need to look the part to make this money. So are you trying to fault them as well?
I mean, all right, to combat that, there's a guy named Toji, and he takes steroids, and his only excuse for taking steroids was, oh, I'm taking it. He literally said, I'm not doing it to inspire people. I'm not doing it to, to buy my house. I'm doing it because I want to look good and get money.
You see what I'm saying?
And granted, he's known for having the IQ of room temperature, but still, like, I don't think these guys are doing it for the love of lifting and the love of doing it and just being like, oh, like I want to reach my max potential, like possible by any means necessary. It's more so like, oh, I want to look the best so that people will want to look to me for, who they want to look like and buy my course. And I'll get more followers, more money,
Attention,
etc. Yeah,
validation.
etc.
Yeah, no, that's just to play devil's advocate, but like I see why people do it, but I think there's so many repercussions, like there should be repercussions because there's like a lot of mental health crisis. There's a lot of like mental issues or whatever like going on in the world right now, like where people are, tend to be like a little sadder walking down the street or whatever.
And on that point, we're not just speaking for the men here. A lot of women influencers, a lot of women get body dysmorphia from seeing a lot of women with certain body shapes, and they're just like, oh, like I don't look like that. Is that the male? Is that the standard for women? Some of it's unachievable. Some of it's literally just genetics. But so a lot of women are just going up to it and saying like, oh, I need to look like this. So that's to add to your point.
Yeah, so like I'm just saying, like I feel for some of these people who are like, blindly following this like fitness trend and gotta look perfect because at the end of the day, you gotta love your body, you gotta love yourself. You don't need to chase like perfection. Like, keep progressing, but don't, lose your way because at the end of the day, you're your own self. There's no ideal body type per se. Everyone has something to bring to the table when it comes to your ideal physique. What someone may want or whatever for themselves may be something that someone else wants for themselves, and opposite. I don't know, I'm waffling, but I don't know. There's so many like different types of like beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So don't get caught up on one physique. Like,
also, we're looking at different factors right here. So first, there's lighting that goes into it. There's certain cameras that make you look better.
Editing.
There's editing. A lot of people Photoshop their pictures just to look better for the views and the clicks. Also, like we said before, steroids is a big factor. And I don't think people should be messing up their bodies just because they want to look good for a picture or to get likes or to get attention. That's just really dumb. I don't think people should take steroids at all. I just feel like that's a cheat code. That's like a fast track.
It is a fast track, and I feel like whenever you take a shortcut, it usually doesn't end up too well for yourself. Whether that is like you're losing like your actual health or it just never goes right.
Exactly,
in my opinion.
So to that point, would you ever consider taking like a low dose of like a steroid or not?
I never wanted to take steroids.
You never wanted to? Okay.
Like I watch like a lot of these fitness influencers or whatever. Like it makes for great content, and I love watching like how they progress or whatever in their lifts, how their physique changes, whatever. It's interesting. But personally, I'm good off that. Like I don't want to go bald ever.
Yeah.
Hopefully not on wood. Hopefully it's not my genetics. But, I don't know.
I see a lot of people taking like testosterone and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I can do quick research now, but I don't think it's testosterone, a steroid. So it's a natural steroid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it is. I mean, I probably wouldn't because I'm like, what I'm saying, we're all young. I feel like if you start working out at a younger age and like you just keep going and you just keep consistent, you're gonna reach the physique you want granted at a slower rate, but it's gonna be healthier than getting it within a year and then like your body shuts down like 30.
and you won't be able to maintain that in a wheelchair.
Exactly. Like
So
a lot of those steroids cause like blood clots, cause heart attacks, cause rapid aging. I'm not just off the top of my head, so disclaimer, but a lot of those steroids just aren't good for you at all, as we heard. So I do believe that we should have a real conversation about the epidemic going on with younger people taking it. But how would you fix that if you had any ideas to? Like, how would you convince younger guys to, basically
to not take it,
not take it and not take the fast track and go naturally? Because I guess it could be tempting if you're.
It could definitely be tempting.
Yeah.
I mean, like teenagers they're highly impressionable. So, they see something that they want, they're gonna try to go and get it. Simple as that. But I just say it's not worth it. Look at all the natural bodybuilders, natural fitness influencers out there who have like real healthy diets. Get enough sleep because that's something that a lot of people don't do. They eat well, train well, let their body rest. You will feel so much better and look so good after like even a year, 2 years, 3 years of training. And just think about that. Having like a consistent plan, consistent diet, consistent sleeping schedule, you can literally achieve anything that you want to. Whether
Power
it's
sleep
like
is strong.
the power of sleep is so great, and
And
people
a good diet,
underestimate
too.
that, but
Sleep in a good diet, sleep a good diet, and a good training regimen. Those three
adds up.
skills.
It adds up.
Yeah.
So, yes, you can take the fast track. Do we recommend it? Definitely not.
Yeah.
So,
No way.
just be consistent and just compile those days, months, years, and see how far you can get. So, with that being said, get you some health insurance.
Yeah, make sure if you are, regardless of if you want to, if you don't want to, get health insurance. Make sure your livelihood is in check. Make sure it's safe. Make sure you have everything prepared.
For sure.
So in the future, if anything does come up, you're ready. You're insured. You're ready to rock.